It was one of the most tragic operations in law enforcement history.
As soon as I got off my bed, a bullet head came straight through the wall.
And children were the pawns.
I heard my grandpa, he was begging David to kill him because he had been shot.
He would snap. The next minute, he was like a viper.
The 51-day siege at Waco divided families forever.
I really loved my dad. I don't think I really realized that he would not be coming out with me.
Now, rarely seen video and interviews reveal the struggles of the most innocent of victims, the children of Waco. Early morning, February 28, 1993. After months of surveillance, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms tries to serve a warrant for illegal guns on David Koresh. Koresh heads the Branch Davidians, a fundamentalist religious sect that for decades has lived near Waco, Texas. The ATF have force and numbers, but the Branch Davidians have been stockpiling firearms for years. Within moments, there are shots fired from both sides.
There's 75 men around our building, and they're shooting at us. There are children and women in here, and to call it off.
I never really believed that the apocalypse was coming and the world was going to end, but all of a sudden the ATF showed up.
As the gunfight begins, the children are asleep in their bunks. David Jones, the father of the Jones family, had learned of the raid from reporters on the roads nearby and returned to tip off Koresh.
Next thing I know, they're all running up and down the halls, passing out guns, and he's telling women and children to get in their rooms, get on the floor. I remember looking out the window and seeing the trailer truck, and they pull in, and a bunch of guys start jumping out the back of it, and that was when we got on the floor. And you hear David and them screaming back and forth, you know, there's women and children in here. You know, don't shoot. Then all of a sudden, you know, next thing you know, it was just gunfire.
Guns started going off everywhere. It's like war. Shooting the walls above us, and the sheetrock was flying, and you could see all of our stuff getting shot up, blowing off of our dressers, and more holes going through the wall on the other side. It's kind of scary.
For decades, children had been raised to carry on the faith of the Branch Davidian community. They lived with their parents at Mt Carmel, a ramshackle complex near Waco, Texas. Mt Carmel operated like a religious commune, with shared meals and bedrooms for more than 100 members. Only the kitchen had running water. It was a rough environment, but some of the children still have fond memories of Mt Carmel.
Me and my brother used to go fishing all the time, and my dad would go fishing with us. We had go-karts and little motorcycles and dirt bikes. We'd ride them all the time. It was pretty much play every day, unless you got in trouble for something.
Kevin's parents were both raised at Mt Carmel. The Branch Davidians had been at the site for almost 60 years as an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventists. The fundamentalist group celebrated the Sabbath on Saturday and had strict rules about diet and dress.
Girls had to wear long tops. We had to have blouses down to here, so when we been over in the gardens, our bottoms didn't show, because we worked with the boys, and couldn't have the boys looking at our butts.
In 1981, a long-haired stranger came into the group. Vernon Howell, the man who became David Koresh, did not resemble a messiah.
He had long, stringy hair. He looked like a hippie. That's my first memory of him, just coming through the door looking very bohemian. He just opened up the Bible, started reading and talking, and he would go on for hours, and I'd be fascinated the whole time. That had never happened before. I mean, when was the last time you went to a Bible study and got all excited.
I waited patiently on the Lord.
Koresh's mastery of the Bible could lead to all-night study sessions, both inspiring and sometimes intimidating to children.
Where's the rock at, class?
Most of the time, he never had the Bible in his hand. I mean, he just talked from memory, I guess. Sometimes he was really moving. You could get into what he was saying and just listen for hours.
But he was very strict, very strict. I mean, from like, you know, when we had Bible studies and everything, you know, you say you have to use the bathroom, he'd tell you, well, you should have went before you came in here, so go on yourself. He was pretty strict. That's just how he was. He ran everything.
Koresh's dominance of the group grew over time. The children became familiar with the helper, a small wooden paddle used in spankings.
For some reason, he was very strict on me. When he spanked me, he would always have like a female in the room. I never told my mom that, you know, he would pull down my pants and spank me. He always spanked me on my bare butt.
My sense of the physical abuse was that it was essentially an overzealous and inappropriate use of what some people might call corporal punishment. So that they would actually physically discipline infants for crying.
18 years later, Dana Okimoto still recalls paddling her baby son, Sky.
There were times where I spanked him and he had a rash. And, you know, my paddle came up and there was blood on it. And I'll just never forget that. If I had any regrets in life, that would be one. That I did that to my child.
Rumors of child abuse brought state investigators to Mt Carmel several times, but Koresh vehemently denied the charges.
I do not beat children.
Spanking a child until the child's bottom bleeds?
No. Absolutely not. It's never been done.
Ironically, despite the harsh discipline, the children felt safe with their extended family at Mt Carmel.
The environment changed so much over time, but in our everyday existence with each other, it was just us being kids and having a good time.
At the same time that these children had many wonderful, positive things that were built into them by virtue of living in this communal environment, there was this poisonous spice that was thrown in the stew.
That poison would be Koresh's growing desire for total control, separating husbands from wives and parents from children.